Afternoon, and good afternoon to all the other members in here, the committee and the other members. My name is Exilda Haninga Milambo, Mrs., the Acting Council Secretary, ITEZHI-TEZHI Town Council. So I'll call upon my team members to introduce themselves, starting from my far left.
Good afternoon, Chair. My name is Albert Chitamaluka. I'm the Acting Director Planning for ITEZHI-TEZHI Town Council.
Greetings, Chair. My name is Elliot Mukabila Jr. I'm the Senior Procurement Officer.
Good afternoon, Chair. Good afternoon, honorable members of the committee. Good afternoon, permanent witnesses. My name is Ntambu Kashala. I'm the Director Engineering at ITEZHI-TEZHI Town Council.
Good afternoon, Chair. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Singwa Lawrence, Director of Finance.
Good afternoon, Chair. My name is Joseph Perry, Chief Accountant, ITEZHI-TEZHI Town Council. Thank you, Chair.
Good afternoon, Chair. My name is Michael Monambale, Socio-Economic Planner.
Good afternoon, Chair. Good afternoon, honorable members. Good afternoon, permanent witnesses. My name is Abraham Chansa, Internal Auditor.
Thank you so much. Auditor's Office.
Good afternoon, Chair. Good afternoon, honorable members of the committee. Good afternoon, ITEZHI-TEZHI Town Council. My name is Martin Nguni, Assistant Director, Southern Province. I'm accompanied by my colleague who will introduce himself.
Good afternoon, Chair. Good afternoon, honorable members of the committee. And good afternoon, ITEZHI-TEZHI. My name is Charles Bukolo, Office of the Auditor General.
Other permanent witnesses?
Thank you, Chair, and good afternoon. Good afternoon, honorable members. Good afternoon, CS and your management team. My name is Mulenga Chama, coming from the Office of Accountant General.
Good afternoon, Chair. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Venon Mshota, coming from Ministry of Finance, from the Office of the Controller of Internal Audit. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairperson, and good afternoon to you and the honorable members of your committee. ITEZHI-TEZHI Town Council, you're welcome to your session. I'm Kazinga Kennedy from Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Secretariat.
Thank you very much, Chair. Good afternoon, Chair, and good afternoon, everyone. My name is Keke Makua from Office of the Clerk.
Thank you, Chair. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Tokozile Japonda from the Office of the Clerk.
Thank you, Chair, and good afternoon to you. Emmanuel Walia from the Office of the Clerk.
Thank you so much, my elder brother, honorable member for Mitete.
Chair, thank you so very much. ITEZHI-TEZHI Local Authority, you are welcome. Amin Mutelo Misheki, the MP for Mitete. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you so much. Honorable Kamondo, can you please introduce yourself? Honorable Kamondo, are you there? Are you getting me? All right, it's like he's not getting me, but he's online. Also, recently I saw Dr. Singombe online. Mwene Luhamba, Member of Parliament for Mangango Constituency, sitting in for the Chair, Honorable Mishek Nyambose. Before we proceed, CS, I'll just ask you to kindly authenticate your document. It's not authenticated.
Yes, Chair, and thank you for the consideration.
Can you please authenticate it now?
Sure, sir.
Before we proceed, you may tell us that is not your your report. We have also just been joined, as you are authenticating your document, been joined by another honorable member of Parliament for Kaumbwe. Dr. Mwanza, please introduce yourself.
Thank you, Chair. As the Chair has alluded, I'm Honorable Dr. Aaron Mwanza, Member of Parliament for Kaumbwe Constituency in Petauke District of the Eastern Province. You are most welcome to your committee on local government accounts, ITEZHI-TEZHI. Thank you.
Thank you so much, CS. As you are just authenticating our viewers and the listeners, we also want to welcome you on this platform. You can please continue following us on Parliament TV. DSTV is always on channel 275, God TV channel 28, Top Star channel 5, and on Facebook Live, National Assembly of Zambia Facebook page. Please keep on following us, and we value association. Please, you can also invite our neighbors and the colleagues to keep following Parliament TV. Also on Parliament Radio, we are broadcasting live from National Assembly main buildings in Osaka. So having said that, yes, I have seen your authentication. You can please go ahead with your presentation of your memorandum to the committee. Yes, I already gave you the immunity, so you are very highly protected by Cap 12 of the laws of Zambia, which states that whatever you say here in this house, in this mini parliament, we are presenting Madam Speaker here, you are protected by Cap 12 of the laws of Zambia, which states that you cannot be taken to any court of law in Zambia with whatever you present before this committee. And the same cap also states that should you not say the truth, it will still turn against you, which it is my hope and belief that you will not take the latter direction. So, thank you so much. Honorable Mtero.
Chair, we see it down, James. Acting CS, acting planner. Where are the substantive ones? Or maybe they may clarify. Did you say you are acting?
Yes,
Chair.
Yeah,
I said I'm acting. So is the director planning. He's also
so
acting.
where are the substantive ones?
The ministry would come in to clarify on the substantive council secretary. And for the director planning, he is acting as I got elevated to act as council secretary.
So you were the
director planning.
Director planning.
Yes, sir.
So you are equal to the task. Okay, so I think we proceed, honorable members. Not so?
Chair, they've said the ministry. So if the ministry is here, let the ministry clarify.
Mr. Kazing.
Chairperson, as submitted by the witness before you, she is a substantive director planning for ITEZHI-TEZHI and currently serving administratively as the council secretary for ITEZHI-TEZHI. The substantive is indisposed. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So, Aruta continua. Thank you. We proceed. CS, please, you can. Acting CS, please, you can proceed.
Thank you so much. I'll present the memorandum to the Committee on Local Government Accounts Responses, paragraph 87 of the report of the Auditor General on the Constituency Development Fund for the financial year ended 31st December 2023. So we'll go to page 6 now with our first item, Mutenda Health Post, Mother's Shelter, cause of query.
Please take your time, guide us clearly, because you know your font is very small. It's quite hard to read. We have to wear our glasses to be able to see what you have written.
Okay.
So you have said page 6?
Yes, on page 6.
Okay, can you proceed, please?
Yeah. I hope everyone is there now. So, first item, Mutenda Health Post, Mother's Shelter, cause of query. Management wishes to acknowledge the auditor's findings and wishes to report that the cause of query was due to a request for an extension of time that was approved and works were ongoing at the time of audit. Action taken. Management wishes to report that the project was completed and handed over to the community and is currently under use. Remedial measures. Management wishes to report that the projects will be completed under the stipulated contractual period. We can refer to Appendix 1 for attachments.
Yes, please, you can proceed.
Okay. Item 2, Pombo solar-powered borehole, cause of query. Management wishes to acknowledge the auditor's findings and report that the initial contract for the project was terminated and the new contractor was procured, who at the time of audit was still undertaking works on the site. Action taken. Management wishes to report that the tank stand and solar pump system were installed and the borehole is currently in use and the project has been completed. Remedial measures. Projects will be completed within the contractual period, and we can also refer to Appendix 2 for pictures and also the partial completion certificate attached. We go to the third, which is Masasabi Road, cause of query. Management wishes to acknowledge the auditor's findings and report that this was due to a defect that was not rectified by the contractor after notification during the defects liability period at the time of audit. Action taken. Management wishes to report that the defect was rectified by the contractor in the project's defect liability period elapsed in November 2024. Remedial measures. Management wishes to report that defects will be worked on by the contractors as soon as they are notified during the defect liability period. We can refer to Appendix 3, where the completion certificate is actually attached. Then I go to the next query, which is irregular award of contract to the highest bidder, construction of 2 ablution blocks and drilling of a solar-powered borehole at Mbila Weekly Boarding. A cause of query. On the next page, on page 8, management wishes to acknowledge the auditor's findings and report that this was due to the clause in the advert, in that preference would be given to contractors that were domiciled in the district and further recommended by the procurement committee who awarded the highest bidder. Action taken. Management wishes to report that the project has since been completed and handed over at a negotiated price of 1,600,000 kwacha. Remedial measures. Management wishes to report to the committee that it will continue to adhere to the provisions of the Public Procurement Act and Public Finance Management Act. We can see Appendix 4 where we have attached the particular advert and other evidence. B, on the next page, page 9, administrative component over expenditure on administrative costs, cause of query. That's over expenditure, cause of query. Management wishes to acknowledge the observation made by the auditors on over expenditure amounting to 375,700 kwacha, and wish to state that the over expenditure was caused by the misposting of loan management charges by the bank. The loan management fees amounting to 185,000 kwacha were posted under administrative costs, while the variance of 190,700 kwacha from the over expenditure were purchases of office equipment in form of desktops and laptops. Action taken, management wishes to report to the committee that a reconciliation has since been done on administrative component, and balances for the year 2023 to 2025 have a positive balance. Remedial measures, management wishes to state that an accounting officer has been assigned to specifically handle Constituency Development Fund ledgers and cautioned to ensure that budget controls are always adhered to. We can see Appendix 5 to get more evidence and details. Then C, management of women and youth empowerment grants. A, under the same A, failure to implement funded activity, cause of query. Management wishes to acknowledge the auditor's findings and wishes to state that this was due to increased commodity prices of the stationary equipment. Action taken, management wishes to inform the committee that it had engaged the cooperative through writing, and in their response letter, they asked for 8 months in which to start the implementation of the business, and this was approved by CDFC committee. Remedial measures, management will endeavor to see to it that all projects that are funded and approved by CDFC and the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development are adhered to and implemented. We can refer to Appendix 6 for details and attachments. We go to B, change of project, Shikwaze Women Club, cause of query. Management wishes to acknowledge the auditor's findings on change of project by Shikazwe Women Club from initial application and approved of gardening and pottery to village banking, which was against the Constituency Development Fund Committee approved. Action taken, management wishes to inform the committee that it engaged the club to apply for change of business type, which they did, and the application for change of business was approved by the committee. Remedial measures, management wishes to inform the committee that it shall continue sensitizing and advising the beneficiaries of the empowerment grants on adhering to the approved projects of the Constituency Development Fund Committee and Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development. We can see Appendix 7 for the attachment. So here, Chair, I will now move to cross-cutting issues. And the first one on Appendix 1 is budget, funding, and expenditure. Then we move to page 13, where the cause of query is highlighted. Management acknowledges the auditor's findings, and wishes to state that retained funds amounting to 1,038,530 kwacha was for the construction of Chief Kaingu's Palace of ITEZHI-TEZHI district. Further, the balance on the 2023 CDF funding against the expenditure relates to the programs that were ongoing in the course of the year. So action taken, management wishes to report that the reconciliation of the 2023 CDF performance was undertaken as indicated in the table here in the document. Remedial measures, management will endeavor to continue supervising works and liaise with the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development with regards to the construction of Chief Kaingu's Palace. We can see Appendix 8 for the same. The next query is retained for Chief's Palaces, cause of query. Management wishes to acknowledge the auditor's observation on retained funds amounting to 922,849 on construction of Chief Kaingu's Palace of ITEZHI-TEZHI district. Action taken, management wishes to inform the committee that the contractor is on site and works are ongoing. Remedial measures, management will continue engaging Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development on the completion of the Chief's Palace. We can also see Appendix 9 for details and attachments. The next cross-cutting issue is on Appendix 2, total unspent funds, cause of query. Management wishes to acknowledge the auditor's findings on unspent funds amounting to 23,863,290 and wishes to report that various constituency development fund programs and activities under the community projects component, empowerment loans and grants, bursaries from 2022 spilled over to 2023, and interest was earned on the revolving fund account. Further, ongoing 2023 constituency development fund programs contributed to the unspent funds, which is highlighted in the table which is attached there. Then action taken. Management wishes to inform the committee that community projects, empowerment loans and grants and bursaries under both 2022 and 2023 Constituency Development Fund were implemented. Further, management wishes to state that reconciliation was undertaken and the results are as shown in the table above, showing that the funds were spent. Then remedial measures. Management wishes to state that it shall ensure that Constituency Development Fund programs shall be implemented in the fiscal year. See Appendix 10 for details. We can move to page 18. Appendix 2.1, Unspent Funds, Community Projects, Cause of Query. Management acknowledges the auditor's findings and wish to state that the balance on the 2023 CDF funding against expenditure relates to community projects that were ongoing and retention for completed projects in the course of the year. Action taken. Management wishes to report that 89% of the projects under the community projects component have been completed, except one whose contract was terminated and the contractor to complete the work. The works is being procured. Remedial measures. Management will ensure that funds are exhausted expeditiously and the community projects are completed during each fiscal year. On page 19, Appendix 2.2, Unspent Funds, Empowerment Grants, Cause of Query. Management acknowledges the auditor's findings and wishes to state that the balance of 34,800 on the 2023 CDF funding against the expenditure relates to empowerment grants, which was a result of delay in submission of bank details by the beneficiary club at the time of audit. Action taken. Management wishes to inform the committee that the beneficiary eventually submitted the banking details and funds were dispersed. Remedial measures. Management will continue orienting the beneficiaries and conducting capacity building on financial literacy and management. So we can refer to Appendix 12 to get the details. On page 20, Appendix 2.3, Unspent Funds, Empowerment Grants, Cause of Query. Management acknowledges the auditor's findings and wishes to state that the balance... is it repeated? Pardon?
Yes, yeah.
I continue. Yes. The balance of 34,800 on the 2023 CDF funding against expenditure relates to empowerment grants, which was as a result of delay in submission of bank details by the beneficiary at the time of audit. Action taken. Management wishes to inform the committee that the beneficiary eventually submitted the banking details and the funds were dispersed. And remedial measures. Management will continue orienting the communities and conducting capacity building on financial literacy and engagement management. Appendix 2.4, Secondary Boarding and Skills Development Bursaries, Cause of Query. Management wishes to acknowledge the auditor's findings on unspent funds amounting to 2,578,158 and wish to state that these were funds which remained after the approval of the bursaries by the committee, as the total amount approved was less than the allocated funds, which were subsequently varied. Action taken. Management wishes to inform the committee that the authority to vary funds was granted by the CDFC committee and the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development. Remedial measures, management will continue sensitizing the community through different channels on the importance of skills development bursaries and secondary school bursaries. See Appendix 13. Then we move to page 22. Unspent funds, administrative costs, cause of query. Management acknowledges the observation made by the auditors on over expenditure amounting to 375,000 kwacha 700, and wish to state that the over expenditure was caused by the misposting of loan management fees charged by the bank. The loan management fees amounting to 185,000 were posted under administration cost, while the variance of 190,700 kwacha from the expenditure were purchases of office equipment in form of desktops and laptops. Action taken. Management wishes to report to the committee that a reconciliation has since been done on administrative component, and balances for the year 2023 to 2025 have a positive value. Remedial measures. Management wishes to state that an accounting officer has also been assigned to specifically handle Constituency Development Fund ledgers and continue and cautioned to ensure that budget controls are always adhered to. So we'll refer back to Appendix 5 for this particular item. On page 23, Appendix 3, 2022 Community Projects, Cause of Query. Management wishes to acknowledge the auditor's findings and report that the cause of query was due to internal wrangles in the joint venture of the contractors at the two sites, while the third site was delayed due to extensions of the completion period requested and granted. Action taken. Management wishes to report that all the three contracts were terminated and new contractors were engaged for the completion of the said projects. 2 out of the 3 projects have been completed, while the third project, for the third project, the contractor is on site and works are in progress. Remedial measures. Management wishes to report that a quick and decisive termination of contracts where signs of delay in completion are exhibited will be actioned to ensure timely and cost-effective delivery of the projects to the community. We can see Appendix 14 for attachments. Then we go to page 24, 2023 Community Projects, Cause of Query. Management wishes to acknowledge the auditor's findings and report that the query was caused by the extension of completion periods granted on 5 projects and the termination of a contract for one of the projects. Action taken. Management wishes to report that 4 projects have been completed and handed over, while the procurement of a new contractor to complete the works of the terminated contract is in progress. Remedial measures. Management to ensure that projects are completed on time to ensure timely delivery of the projects to the community. You can refer to Appendix 15. On the next page, analysis of performance of youth, women, and community grants. Cause of query. Management wishes to acknowledge the auditor's findings and report that the query was caused by failure by applicants to meet the conditions in the Constituency Development Fund guidelines. Action taken. Management wishes to report that the ward development committees have since been engaged to sensitize the community members on the criteria in accessing the grants. Remedial measures. Management to ensure that it sensitizes the community members on the criteria for accessing empowerment grants under the Constituency Development Fund. See Appendix 16. On the next page, change of projects without approval. Cause of query. Management wishes to acknowledge the auditor's findings on change of project by Shikazo Women Club from initial application and approval of gardening and pottery to village banking, which was against what the Constituency Development Fund Committee approved. Action taken. Management wishes to inform the committee that it engaged the club to apply for the change of business type, which they did, and the application for change of business was approved by the CDFC committee. Remedial measures. Management wishes to inform the committee that it shall continue sensitizing and advising the beneficiaries of the empowerment grants on adhering to the approved projects of the Constituency Development Fund Committee and the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development. You can refer back to Appendix 7 for details. On page 27, performance analysis of soft loans under Appendix 8, cause of query. Management wishes to acknowledge the auditor's findings and report that the query was caused by failure by applicants to meet the conditions in the Constituency Development Fund loan guidelines and during evaluation process by the bank. Action taken. Management wishes to report that the ward development committees have since been engaged to sensitize local communities on the criteria in accessing loans. Remedial measures. Management to ensure that it sensitizes the community members on the criteria for accessing empowerment loans under Constituency Development Fund. You can see Appendix 16. Next, Appendix 9, failure to recover loans, cause of query. Management wishes to acknowledge the auditor's findings on the failure to recover the loans from the members of the community due to non-compliance by beneficiaries. Action taken. Management wishes to report that Council has since formulated a loan recovery ad hoc committee, and it has been summoning the beneficiaries and writing to the loan beneficiaries explaining the need to comply with the loan conditions. Remedial measures. Management will endeavor to engage the community members and the loan beneficiaries at all times to ensure compliance in loan recoveries. You can refer to Appendix 17 here. On the next page, Appendix 10, secondary boarding and skills development bursaries, cause of query. Management wishes to acknowledge the auditor's findings and wish to report that the cause of query was due to limited number of beneficiaries applying for secondary school boarding and skills development bursaries. Action taken. Management wishes to report that it has since engaged school management and the community by sensitizing them on the availability of the Constituency Development Fund secondary school and skills development bursaries. Remedial measures. Management wishes to report that it will ensure that the community members are sensitized on the availability of the Constituency Development Fund secondary school and skills development bursaries. You can refer to Appendix 16. We move to page 30, Appendix 13, analysis of performance of desks. Cause of query. Management wishes to acknowledge the auditor's findings and report that the cause of the query was the delayed delivery of the desks by the supplier at the time of audit. Action taken. Management wishes to report that the desks were delivered and the supplier was paid the amount due. Remedial measures. Management will ensure that the desks procured in future are delivered on time. You can refer to Appendix 18 for attachments. On page 31, Appendix 14, delivery of substandard desks, cause of query. Management wishes to acknowledge the auditor's findings and report that this was due to certain defects arising after the delivery of the desks, which at the time of audit had not been worked on. Action taken. Management wishes to report that the desks were worked on by the suppliers and documents are available for verification. Remedial measures. Management will ensure that the desks delivered have no defects. We can refer to Appendix 19 for this. So, Chair, this marks the end of my report, and I therefore submit for your consideration with the committee. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your submissions, yes. Now we enter a session of points of clarification from the Honorable Members of Parliament. Honorable Member for Mitete.
Chair, thank you so much. Yes. Just the very first and throughout you have stated that projects will be completed under a stipulated contractual period. But amongst the reasons from one of the contractors is delayed payment from yourselves. You've seen that letter.
You can help me to do a quick
yes.
search.
All right. Appendix 1. The third from the end, the appendix 1, you have these pictures 1, 2, 3. You've seen that reason? Yes.
Yes.
So one of the reasons came from you. 2, the other one said road network. Number 1, so that contracts are not delayed in ITEZHI-TEZHI, will your management be paying the contractors, those who would have finished a certain stage, verified, then pay? I'm pretty sure when an IPC is presented, we are supposed to pay. According to this letter, closer to 20 days. I don't want to add, I just want to get what is there. Here is 3 months and you eat 20 days. Are you not part and parcel of the delay? Number 2, where there is a road network, then you are saying going forward we'll be completing within the contractual period. Is it true? Don't you think that these extensions will still be being asked, even as much as we want contracts to be being finished within the contractual period? I'm grateful the works are completed now. They were undergoing then. But why, number 1, were you part and parcel? Are you part and parcel of the delayment? When you are acknowledging, you are also acknowledging, say, yes, we acknowledge and we approve. So you were also approving to say we will continue with the delays to pay. Why? Where there is also a genuine, natural problem, what are you going to be doing? I just want to, so that when you say no, works will be being completed within contractual period. Just that clarification, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Honorable Member. Yes, you can please try to clarify on that.
Thank you so much, Chair. I'll start with the second question and come to the first with your indulgence, Chair.
You can proceed
Thank you.
in any order you want.
Yes, so for the bad road network, indeed, that is a true reflection of the terrain of ITEZHI-TEZHI, coupled with the plains, which are impassable, and inaccessibility of certain areas during rain season. So we have restructured that by critically studying that and ensuring that we, by the time the areas get accessible, we are done with all the procurement modalities. So that has helped us to quicken the implementation now. It was a challenge in the beginning, especially in 2022 and 2023, when we were just beginning. So for now, Chair, I can assure you and the members to say the scenario has changed. We actually are ahead of time, especially even for 2025 implementation. Even as we speak, we are receiving 2026 applications to enable us quickly process the issues that can be processed during the time we are cut off, such that by the time we get accessible, we are implementing. So those are some of the measures we have put in place to quicken implementation. Otherwise, we are already hit with the challenge of bad network and inaccessibility. That was for the second question. Then for the first question, yes, we got the complaint from the contractor to talk about the delay by 20 days. However, this is not the scenario now, Chair, and maybe to bring the committee up to speed, looking at the schedules of works that the directors of engineering have, they actually have to attend to each and every project and ensure that inspections are done. So there are times when maybe there's a time lapse between inspection of one place to another, and this was more so at the time that we only had one officer. But we can safely say the situation is no longer the same because the engineering directorate is fully now staffed, starting from the director engineering to civil engineers. The director of engineering can add on my submission before.
Director engineering.
Thank you, Chair. But I believe the principal officer has clarified, unless there are any further clarifications that are required, Chair.
Honorable Member from Tete.
Yes, sir. You may raise to say we've received these IPCs, and then maybe the delay is from finance. That situation sometimes arises. You, yes, done. Audit, yes, done. CS, yes, done. Finance, sitting. At one point in Parliament, there was a word, ndwi, not paying. It might be, but there's sometimes such things. So, I want to hear from the Director of Finance. It's good the accountant is also here. Why do you delay? Why?
Yes, DF.
Thank you, Chair. At times, it's not a matter of doing a delayment in paying. What we rely most as finance is when we go through also the IPC. At times you find that maybe the contractor has not signed on the IPCs and payment is needed. So what we do, we make an authentication of it. We call the contractor or involve the user department in this case, which is the engineering department. When everything is done, that is when now we do the payment. I submit, Chair.
All right, so let's go to page 28. Failure to recover loans. Yes, you can see on your table there the amount to be recovered is supposed to be 6,421,415 kwacha. You issued out 5,301,254 kwacha. From this amount, only 366,646 kwacha has been paid. One. Do you know that it is your responsibility to make sure that these monies are recovered? 2. If truly you know that, as a council, what measures are you putting in place or have you put in place to recover this money? And 3, what is the status quo as at today? Because this balance is too much, yes. This is almost, I think, 1%, if I'm not very far away from the percentage on how much has been paid. So can you please respond to those 3 questions?
Thank you, Chair. To start with, I wish to assure you that there is a positive situation at the moment pertaining to the loan recovery. If you look at Appendix 17, we have actually formed an ad hoc committee for loan recovery, which is very vicious, even as we speak right now, not by design, that because we are here. They have been meeting the loan defaulters day in, day out. Even as we speak now, they are actually meeting some of them. Additionally, we have a fully equipped legal department now, which has swiftly moved in, such that as we meet these loan defaulters, we are also sensitizing them on the effects of not repaying the loans and consequences such as litigation issues. We may end up in court with them. Additionally, Chair, I wish to state that from this 366, which has been recovered, yes, significantly, we haven't gone very far in recovering, but as at yesterday, we were standing at 585,000, and we have a bank statement which can be availed for verification, which was shared with the bank. So we are really putting in all efforts that we can, and we want to ensure that these monies are recovered. And if you may recall, ITEZHI-TEZHI was one of the local authorities that actually made a wake-up call, even to other local authorities, as we demonstrated how we actually took one of the defaulters to the police and that no one is above the law. So we are really pursuing them, and we really know that these recoveries have to be done by ourselves. We are bound by the loan agreement form, which is a legal document, and the loan defaulters also are bound by it, and they have to adhere to the conditions that are set therein. So we are really, really doing our best to ensure that these monies continue coming. Thank you, Chair.
Honorable Member for Miteta.
Thank you, Chair. I'm a bit worried worried in the sense that ITEZHI-TEZHI local authority is very vicious with the loan beneficiaries. It's not a bad idea or thing to do in the first place to empower them, to give them loans that they had never heard of in ITEZHI-TEZHI. The word vicious is harmful intention. Then ITEZHI-TEZHI became the first local authority, or amongst the first, to take a defaulter to the police. That's good. But what did you first do? You are dealing with people who, some of them, have never ever received a loan in their lives. And the intention and purpose is to empower them. In some groups in Zambia, I don't want to specify, some of them, after getting the loan, yes, they ended up marrying more wives. Some sections. That aside, thank you for all this. But what modalities, other than taking them to police, being so vicious, as if you are Shylocks? This money is not kind of a Shylock. It's an empowerment. So that people, the beneficiaries, would-be beneficiaries, may not run away from this well-intended empowerment. I'm glad that now you have advocates. But don't you think first engaging them is the right way?
Thank you, Chair.
Chair, thank you so very much.
Thank you so much.
Forgive me, my voice is hoarse.
It's okay, honorable member. People are able to get you. Yes, on top of that, the term vicious, I think it's not really correlating well with your performance. It's not correlating with your performance. When you look at how much you have collected and how much is still being pursued, it's not correlating. So how often do you engage these loan beneficiaries to recover these funds? Yes, yes.
Thank you so much. So I'll start with the first question. Truly, indeed, engaging the beneficiaries is actually, it has proven to be one of the best ways of even having a conversation with them. And this can be witnessed by the attachment we have given under Appendix 17, where we have a letter with a subject matter invitation to the district for an engagement. This was to one of the beneficiaries in Babiji ward. So what we do is we actually call them and have a round table discussion and discuss with them and actually highlight to them to say, look, this is a loan that you acquired, and for others to benefit, the way you have benefited, you have to pay back. So we actually do much of financial literacy before swinging into action. So we have letters that are attached here, which can show that. Yes, then Chair, indeed, for now, our performance is not correlating. We can assure you to say going forward, we shall stick to what we have started, engaging them and also pursuing the loan beneficiaries to ensure that they pay back, because we have witnessed that for the few that have paid back, we were able to actually empower others with the same money that they paid back in the revolving fund. So we assure you, Chair, that we are going to work extra hard, because others have to benefit the way the first batches have benefited, except with the upcoming maybe restructuring, things may not be the same, but to ensure that this money is paid back by engaging.
Any evidence of your engagement, CS? Any evidence of your engagements? How do you engage? Meetings, letters, what kind of engagements? There are two questions there.
Yes,
evidence
Chair.
of your engagements, one. And two, what kind of engagements do you do with your clients?
Yes, Chair. So we have meetings.
When did you hold the meetings and where are the minutes?
We only attached the invitation letters. We can, however, avail the minutes with your indulgence. Not now.
You can forward them to Secretariat?
To Secretariat, yes, Chair.
And how often?
We do this on a... would you like to come in? Allow me to allow the Director Planning to come in.
Director Planning. I saw you had started nodding a long time ago, trying to signal the CS, the acting CS, to give you a chance to speak.
To say something.
And I have also seen the senior, junior, the junior, senior, also wanting to comment.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, so just on how often we are meeting our loan defaulters. So we have come up with a different channel now to take, Chair. With the coming of devolution, so you're aware that the Department of Agriculture now is with us, the Department of Veterinary is also with us. So we have taken this responsibility actually down on the ward level, where we have these extension officers sitting. So they are now helping us to take charge of the beneficiaries that have gotten grants and also loans. So in each and every a quarter of the year, we're actually providing them with incentives of logistics in terms of fuel, so that they keep the fire burning at the ward level. Apart from that, Chair, we deliberately now have managed to put in position the district commissioner to be the chairperson of this ad hoc committee that we're talking about for recovery loans, so that with his position and also with his heart he has towards this money is coming back, since it's government money, we can be able to actually maybe achieve more and collect more than we have collected. Otherwise, as we are calling them coming to the local authority, the discussions, Chair, are peaceful that we have with them, because we want them to indeed understand that this money is an empowerment money, but then there are also the other people as well waiting in the line to benefit from the same. So we strike a balance as we interact with them, but indeed minutes will be shared, Chair. Thank you.
You are sounding more theoretical, though the theory is sounding good. Where is the evidence of what you are saying?
On top of,
yes,
with your indulgence, plan is taking someone to the police peaceful.
Chair, may I come in on that?
Yeah, yes. First of all, yes, before you come in, he has to answer to those questions. Yes, where is the practical, or you want her to answer this, yes? You are the one who has said all those nice plans, and that is very theoretical and quite robust. So, where is the evidence to that? It's you. Yes.
Thank you, Chair. So as we're talking about the minutes, this is the matter that actually we took through the CDFC committee for approval so that we can start using extension officers. So the minutes, Chair, for the CDFC committee as well, we can provide the extract, though right now we might not be able to, but that can be done maybe as soon as even maybe tomorrow, because we still have somebody in the office who can still avail us with the minutes showing that we have indeed agreed and going ahead using the extension officers to assist in the quarterly monitoring of the loans and the grants at the ward level.
How often have they been able to appear, the ad hoc committee, these extension officers? How often have they come for meetings? 1. 2, when you call for engagement meetings, yes, do all the loan beneficiaries manage to appear at the council for these engagement meetings? Yes, yes.
Okay, Chair. So we are unable to meet all of them at once. We have clustered them. They come in groups. So if we call these, say maybe 5, 10, they will be met on that particular day. Further on, as the director planning is saying, for continuity, in the wards where they are coming from, with the existence of the extension staff under all the devolved departments, community development, agriculture, fisheries and livestock, they continue having an interface with them and visiting them on a closer range, unlike the time that the council, the district, will take to call them back. So between the time that they are called to the next visit at the council, the extension officer has to take charge.
Because you know my worry, this is 2023, and in 2025, today, it's only 585,000 questions. Some other councils have been able to perform much better than this. That's why we are really trying by all means to interrogate further on this, so that this money is recovered. Because the main intention of these funds is to empower people. And when, for example, I have been empowered, it should be retained so the next person also benefits. Now, if it is not retained, how will the next person benefit? That's why we are asking. We are also asking because it's your responsibility as councils to make sure that these monies are paid back. Because if you don't have any plan to this money may not be recovered. That's why we are interrogating further, and we want to see tangible results out of this. So according to your projection, what do you think can be the percentage of returns in this by the end of the year? Yes, you were the planner, not so?
Yes.
So what was your plan?
Our projection was to at least recover 50% of the amount. If we perform better, that will be a plus on our side.
That would be better, yes. Some of your colleagues in other councils, they have been sending them demand letters, reminders every month. And people have been reciprocating positively to this. Without your engagements, without you communicating with them, without you writing them letters, people will rarely remind themselves to pay back this money. Next question,
Thank
Dr.
you.
Mwanza.
Oh, thank you, Chair. I take the committee to page 4. And on page 4, there's a solar-powered borehole. And this solar-powered borehole, the construction periods and the contractor, the details, I can't see the details, but I can just take from the management response on page 6. On page 6, Mpombo solar-powered borehole. so the Code of Query Management wishes to acknowledge the auditor's findings. So this contract, the initial contract was terminated, and a new contractor was procured. And this new contractor has since then completed the project, and the project has been completed and it's in use. We are referred to Appendix 2. So, I'm interested on the financials, because you're saying that the management response is that the project, the initial contract was terminated for this Impombo solar-powered borehole, and a new contractor was engaged. Did you complete this project within the budget? When you terminated, what was the contract price for the first contractor? And at termination, what was the balance? Did you have to seek funds for completing the project with a new contractor?
Yes, yes.
Thank you, Chair. So we actually managed to complete the project within the initial budget, which was 1.4. This was at the time of termination, right? Yeah.
So you have to be precise?
Yes, which was 1.4 million.
Yes, Dr. Mwanza?
If we are on page 4, Chair, you can see the the works which the first contractor did, and the second contractor who was engaged just picked it up from this level, where he had to drill borehole and then put a tank stand and install the tank, and it mounted. On page 4, I see a picture of a deformed tank. Was this a tank that was installed?
Chair, yes, that's the tank which was installed. The one that is in our attachment on the appendix, in the picture.
Yes, Dr. Mwanza?
On page 4. On page 4.
Chair, on page 4.
I see a picture of a deformed tank. This is what the auditors captured.
Are you seeing the picture of the deformed tank?
On page 4. This is what the auditors captured at the time of visit. So, did you install this deformed tank?
Chair,
or
Chair, just to augment it.
Yes, Honorable.
The CS has said yes. So since you said yes, that the one on page 4 is the one we installed. So the question is, why is it different with now the other one? In the appendix 2, the one which is there is totally different with the one which was captured on page 4.
Are you saying it's yes, what is on page 4?
Are we together?
Yes, Chair, we are together.
Yes.
Yeah, so maybe it's the quality of pictures or something, because if you look at the one which is in the appendix in color, you can kind of see that depression on it as well.
You are taking us to Appendix 1?
Appendix 2.
Appendix 2?
Yes.
When did you install it?
Last year in 2024.
Which month?
In October, Chair.
October. So you kept it on the floor for how many months? On the ground, rather. Director planning, you are the one who was responsible for these things. Yes, you are the one actually. You kept it on the ground for how many months? Yes.
May I ask for the director engineering to come?
Director engineering.
Thank you, Chair. The project was actually completed in October 2024. As to how long he had left the tank on the ground, Chair, it wasn't more than a few weeks, Chair.
Few weeks, like how many?
I can't give the exact.
Few
Chair.
cannot. Few is not a number.
Okay, Chair. It can't be more than 2 weeks, Chair.
Dr. Mas.
This tank was procured by the initial contract. But the description here, this is the auditors audited you in, when did they audit you?
When were you audited?
2024, around
Director
April, May.
Director engineering, please, your microphone off.
Oh. Yes, April, May, somewhere there, 24.
If you check the contract, which the second contractor, it was signed in July. And around April, that is what the auditors found on the ground. And even their description on page 4 says that in addition, the tank stand was not installed. The tank was not mounted, and the fencing was not done. See picture below. Here, it shows that the materials were present. As you can see, the tank, as well as the tank stand, and yes. So you terminated the contract and then engaged the second contractor on the contract is in Appendix B, I mean Appendix 2. It was signed on 7th, something like that. It was signed on 30th of July, 2024. And the CS just said that the tank that is in the picture is the one that was installed. So, did they install the tank of the initial contractor or not? And also on Appendix 2, who is the, you've given a partial completion certificate on Appendix 2 for some contractor who completed the works. What is the name of this contractor by the certificate that you have attached in your
Yes, CS.
Thank you, Chair. The partial completion certificate, it indicates Kasemo contractors and general dealers.
Read all of us. Is this the style of ITEZHI-TEZHI to give a partial completion certificate on Appendix 2? Even the other certificate that follows, this is to certify that you cannot then completed works. So is it by design the name of the contractor who is supposed to receive the accolades actually, which is supposed to come out more prominent, you issue like this? That's why I asked the name of the contractor.
Yes, yes.
Sorry, Chair. We should have maybe done a copy in color for it to come out more clear than the way it has come out here. Otherwise, that's...
So according to you, what color was on the name of the contractor?
Okay, so the original.
Yes, the original. Yes.
Yes, it's in color. It's in red.
It's in red?
Yes, so when making copies, I think it downgraded to what is appearing there. Maybe
Red.
Director can also elaborate further.
So red, you wanted to make it prominent, eh? Dr. Manza.
Project number on page 4, the road project. It's on page 5. Construction for the rehabilitation and graveling of 10 kilometers. It's 10 kilometers stretch of Masasabi Road. Chair, this contract was signed and awarded at 1,972,500, and the amount paid is exactly 1,972,500. And yet, after a physical inspection in May, that is 5 months after the expected date of completion, the road showed poor performance in terms of water stagnating or flooding at kilometer 1.7, which is shown in the picture. And management response is that management response is on page 7. Page 7, we are told that the defect that was not, management wishes to acknowledge the auditor's findings and report that this was due to a defect that was not rectified by the contractor after notification during the defects liability period at the time of audit. And the management wishes to report that the defect has been rectified by the contractor and the project's defects liability period elapsed in November 2024. So, the contractor came to remedy the defect.
Yes.
He came to remedy the defect. Who funded the remedial works? When you paid, as per evidence on page 3, you paid everything, 1,972,750 kwacha. You never left any retention money for during the defects liability period, which the contractor would attend to any eventual defects.
Yes, CS.
Thank you, Chair. Allow me to allow the Director Engineering.
Director Engineering.
Thank you, Chair. It's just unfortunate, Chair, that we didn't come with the IPCs and the bank statements, Chair. But I can assure the House that we had retained monies, which are retention monies, and they were only paid in January this year, after the contractor had finally concluded on rectifying the defects of the road.
Look at page 5. The contract was signed on 31st July 2023, ending on 31st December 2023, and the contract sum is 1,972,500, and the amount paid is 1,972,500. That was during the period of that was around May, and the contractor came to remedy these defects later. So, why did you pay? In fact, in measured works, you cannot pay exact amount that was signed for in the contract, because the measurements are plus minus. So, are you confirming that this contract, 1,972,500, was paid exactly to the amount? And if it was paid to that amount, why didn't you leave the detention to remedy the defects? Because this defect happened during the period of during the defects liability period.
Yes, yes.
The engineer will still come.
Director Engineering.
Thank you, Chair. As I was saying, Chair, with your indulgence, we can provide the documentation indicating that we had actually retained the retention, Chair, and the final amount was paid after the conclusion of the defect liability period, Chair.
You are able to send it to Secretariat?
Yes, Chair.
Please do so. Let's.
What it means is that they didn't show the auditors. You know,
So-
check the gravity of the problem. On page 5, you have a contract. On page 5, in fact, the previous page 4, also page 3, there are other contracts, like the first one on page 2. The contract price is 812,000, and the amount paid so far, that by the time of audit, it was 121,000. There's a balance. Then the second project, which is the solar-powered borehole, okay, they didn't put contract details. Now the third project, which is a road, 10 kilometers road network, the contract price is 1,972,500. And what was paid at the time of audit, of course, this is through the financial records. It was exactly 1,972,500. Balance 0. And your response, in your response to this defect, you are saying that management wishes to acknowledge the auditor's findings. Which auditor's findings? The findings that the financial, at least as pertaining to this project, you're acknowledging that the findings, the financial findings, that the contract price, the exact contract price, was paid out to the exact amount. So management wishes to acknowledge the auditor's findings and report that this was due to a defect that was not rectified by the contractor after notification during the defects liability period at the time of audit. Management wishes to report that the defect was rectified by the contractor and the project's liability period ended. The question is, why did you hide that certificate which you are claiming at the retention over the contract sum, and why was it not captured here?
Yes, yes.
Thank you, Chair. I wish to actually maintain, especially with the immunity bestowed upon us,
Yes.
that what the Director Engineering has said is the truth. May you allow us to send over the information so that it is verified. We actually retained some money for the contractor. It's unfortunate that maybe we did not pay particular attention when the auditor captured it that way, but we did not hide this information from the auditors.
All right. Thank you so much. You can please forward that documentation. One last one. Let's go to page 23 as we conclude. Page 23 as we conclude. On Appendix 3, 2022 Community Projects. ITEZHI-TEZHI Town Council had about 8 brought forward projects for 2022. You implemented 5, and the work in progress at the time of audit was 3. Now, in your cause of query, you are saying management wishes to acknowledge the auditor's findings and report that the cause of the query was due to internal wrangles in joint venture contractors at 2 sites, while the third site was delayed due to extensions of the completion period requested and granted. Now, let's go to action taken. Management wishes to report that all the 3 contractors were terminated and the new contractors were engaged for the completion of the said projects. Now, I've gone through to Appendix 14. I've not found any termination letters. Did you terminate orally or you had written documentations? Go to Appendix 14.
Thank you, Chair.
Yes, yes.
Ideally, the contracts were terminated by, we had to write, because we have to follow the procedure of passing through the procurement committee.
That's the letter I was looking for. the termination of the contract. I did not find it on Appendix 14. That's why I'm asking whether you terminated orally or you had the written document. You can please check for us.
Chair, allow us to still submit that letter.
So everything you were leaving home.
Well, let me give me a minute to check through all the letters that are attached before we do that.
All right, in the interest of time, as they are still looking for the termination letter, Dr. Mwanza, one last one. A short one, Dr. Mwanza.
No, this one is
We
very
still
interesting.
have one more, Council.
This is very interesting. And on page 7, irregular
CS,
award.
Let's do this, Dr. Mwanza. CS. I'm addressing you here, CS. You can assign your colleagues to look for the letter as you listen to the next question, because it's coming to you.
All right.
Yes.
I refer you to page 7. An irregular award of a contract to the highest bidder. This is contract in connection with, in relation to the construction of 2 ablution blocks and drilling of a solar-powered borehole at Timbila Weekly Boarding School. Chair, there were 2 contractors. Originally, the 7 bidders submitted the bids, and during the preliminary checks, 2 bidders went through to the financial and the commercial evaluation. The names of these bidders are on page 8. Contrary to the Act, the Council engaged Minda Engineering Limited for the construction of 2 ablution blocks and the drilling of a solar-powered borehole at Timbila Weekly Boarding School at a contract sum of 1,600,000 instead of engaging the lowest bidder, JV Martech, who bid at a price of 1,473,000, just a price difference of 126,000. So the response is that management wishes to acknowledge the auditor's findings and report that this is due to the clause in the advert in that preference would be given to contractors that are domiciled in the district and further recommended by the procurement committee who awarded the highest bidder. So we go to Appendix 4, we see the advertisement, invitation for bids, which was issued on 22nd May 2023. And this advert, just a sentence before the table, this advert is strictly reserved for ITEZHI-TEZHI district domiciled bidders, and the priority preference of award will start from the ward, then to the district, province, and the national. The words, the bids, the bid details and the evaluation is on page 4 from the same appendix. So this particular project is lot 2. So lot 2 has 6 bidders. where JV Martech and also Minda Engineering, the location where these contractors are located is detailed. Minda Engineering Corporation is in Imbila, and JV Martech is in Masemu. What I want to ask is this particular project was in Mbila ward, right?
Yes.
It's in Mbila ward. And Masemu is also a ward?
Yes, Masemu is also a ward in the township, in the central of ITEZHI-TEZHI.
Masemu is a ward in the CBD area, falling under the same district with Mbila. So, if Masemu and Mbila, they are in the same district, how did you apply the preference factor to award this project to the highest bidder? This Martech, he bid at 1.4 million. And then they passed through all the stages to substantial responsiveness. Both contractors passed through all the substantial responsiveness. And they went to price comparison. The detailed evaluation report actually is yes, it's on page 8. Page 8 of Appendix 2. So the JV Martech was the lowest and is a district domiciled contractor. And furthermore, the evaluation the recommendation is on page 11. If you check page 11, the table 4.2, the Minda Engineering, this corrected tender sum was 1.7 million, 1,736,793. And he was plus 8% above the engineer's price. Whilst JV Martech, 1,473,527. This JV Martech was almost minus 8% of the engineer's estimate. And the allowable limit, our allowable range is plus minus 10%. So Martech was within the allowable price range. And both these contractors are in ITEZHI-TEZHI district. How did the law favor the highest bidder when both of them, the condition is that they are domiciled in the district?
CS.
Thank you so much, Chair. We still looked at the procurement committee still looked at the issue of the bidders who were domiciled within the ward, and that is how preference was given to the contractor who was within the ward as per the condition in the advert.
Dr. Mans?
I think you need to seek clarification from ZPPA, because when we're talking about preference factor, is there any way we can quantitatively determine? Because there'll be two contractors from the same ward, and their price, they might tally or something like that. So there must be guidance, because I know, like for international bidding, projects that are international advertised, local bidders, like a Zambian local company, you are given a 20% preference margin before the evaluation. So that is a law that when you're comparing the bid for a Zambian with a foreign bid, the Zambian is given a price margin preference of plus 20%. So whatever you score to the price, then you, the Zambian one, they would reduce your price by 20% and then compare those prices. So if you just say, because this Minda was coming from that particular ward, that is how he was awarded this project, even if his price was very high. Then there's no value for money. Anyway, it was a procurement committee that decided. So, but there's need to seek clarification, because these are recipes for contractors to appeal. And when they appeal, you might not have any defense, because you have got no law anywhere, somewhere where it is written, or even within the ZPPA Act, it does not tell you how you evaluate who is a local bidder. Thank you. It was just an advice.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mwanza. I think we have reached the end of our discussion. ITEZHI-TEZHI Town Council, thank you so much for coming through, for interacting with us. However, you have been found with the issues to look at. For example, one, you have been found to have issues of contract mismanagement and the delays on multiple projects, delays and the contract extensions, like in paragraph 87, point to poor supervision and inefficient procurement. Delayed audit responses further weaken accountability. And two, irregular award of contracts, just like the one that Dr. Mwanza has just been alluding to, awarding the highest bidder, leaving the lowest bidder. This is breaching the procurement guidelines. And the three, over expenditure on administrative costs of about 375,700 kwacha, which is overspending on misclassified bank charges of about 185,000 kwacha also, and an approved office equipment of 190,700 kwacha. This reflects weak internal controls. Unspent funds of 23,863 kwacha, 219 on delayed and non-implemented implementation of projects, bursaries and the grants suggests poor planning and fund mismanagement. Weak monitoring of grants and loans, low approval rates of 37% for empowerment grants, as you read out in Appendix 7, and unrecovered loans, as it is indicated in Appendix 9, indicate poor vetting and enforcement. Now, key points to take home, CS and your team: you are supposed to improve accountability, performance, and the council must focus on one, contract compliance and procurement integrity. That is, A, to review delayed projects and penalize underperforming contractors. B, provide justification for high-cost contract awards and recover excess funds. 2, strengthen financial controls by A, address over expenditure and provide proof of corrective steps. B, conduct monthly financial reconciliations to curb misuse. 3. Utilize and spend funds promptly by A, outlining a clear disbursement plan with the timelines for the 23.8 million, and B, issue quarterly public reports on fund use and project status. 4. You need to improve on grants and the loan oversight by A, tighten vetting to raise approval rates and ensure proper usage. B, recover defaulted loans and implement penalties for non-compliance. 5, enhance oversight and transparency by A, involving ward development committees in monitoring and fraud prevention. B, submit audit resolution documentation to the Auditor's General's Office. In conclusion, non-compliance with procurement procedures, inadequate financial oversight, and slow project implementation have been noted in your report. At this juncture, CS and your team, I wish to withdraw the immunity that was vested on you from the time you came into this room. We wish you well as you go back to ITEZHI-TEZHI. Go and work hard, improve the better living of the people of ITEZHI-TEZHI and the Zambians at large. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Honorable members.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much. You are watching Parliament at television. That was ITEZHI-TEZHI Town Council appearing before the Committee on Local Government Accounts, which is considering the report of the Auditor General on the Constituency Development Fund, CDF, for the financial year ended 31st December 2023. Still to come, we do expect Shwangandu Town Council to reappear before the committee. So we urge you to stand by, and we acknowledge rather those following us live on our official Facebook page, which is the National Assembly of Zambia. Good afternoon.